So you've learned all the basics of farming but don't understand how the temperature and humidity graphs work? Don't worry. Today we will learn how the climate affects your crops, causing delays and the problems in the growing process. In the Black Desert world, we'll have different types of vegetable and fruit seeds with their own climate specification, and you can identify those specifications by reading and sometimes with the basic text interpretation. For this video, I will use two seeds. Grape seed, easier to plant because it's very adaptable to our areas and the climates in the Black Desert. Pepper seed, because it's a little harder to find a good spot for it. Before we will start with the farming example, I will show how to identify the climate specification. For this, in this research the knowledge about these seeds, you search directly for the thing you harvest. The grape, like the description, it's possible to know the best place for planting is in Balenos. But if you farmer don't stay in this area, a sunny climate is sufficient. The pepper, as the description, the best place for the seed is the island, and normally the Black Desert islands have a arid climate. So with this information I can interpret the best place for planting is between Midia and Valencia. And how do I know about this information if I don't live in Black Desert world to fill in the real feel for those zones? It's too simple. Access your map and in the upper right corner of your screen you will see the icons: groundwater information, temperature information, humidity information. Groundwater information, like the name says, is the water underneath the terrain that will affect the amount of water you need to use in your crop. Depending on where you place your fence, you may never need to water in the crop. You can identify the place by the colors. The strongest is the blue color, more water have under the terrain, and the weaker is the color, less water have. Temperature information helps you identify the climate in each region. The redder the color, the hotter is the region. The bluer it is, the colder it is, which is the case for the everfrost region. And be careful to don't get lost in the colors. The yellow color of the Balenos and Serendia regions indicates the sunny climate, while the yellow of Midia indicates the arid climate. Both have difference for your crop. Humidity information show the most humidity is placed in the strong color, and where there are the lower humidity levels, they are in white colors. Now that you know how to identify the climate information, it's time to know how this affects your farming activities. All crops have two graphs, temperature and humidity. The temperature graph indicates the percentual bonus for your crop grow in 5 minutes. The humidity graph indicates the percentual chance of your crop getting a problem in 5 minutes. If your crop stay out of the wet patterns, it will take much more time to get a 100% and will need to be tended with more frequency, such as pruning and avoiding pests. And to see the climate pattern in the temperature and humidity graphs, you will see a highlight color, a dark color, and a small palette that determines the indices of the location. This palette must be between the most highlighted color of those graphs. Here at Finto Farm, where I grow my pepper seeds, it's not a good place to plant. The palette has shown that the temperature of this place is less than 10% below from the recommended. In this case, I will get 1% of growing bonus, giving me a value for 2% of growing in 5 minutes, being 1% of point base and 1% of temperature bonus. And in the humidity graphs, show the index is too high for the pepper seeds, so in 5 minutes I have an 80% chance of getting a problem in my crop, and the estimated time to harvest varies between 7 and 80 hours. On the other side, I have grapes, exactly perfect location for them, because we can see the palette inside the highlighted colors in the both graphics, and the harvest time is varied between 4 hours, with less chance to get a problem in the crop in every 5 minutes, because I have only 2% for this. For the growing bonus, the grape has 1.7%, bringing me the total value for growing 2.7% in 5 minutes. Now, let's change the place. Here in the Valencia Western Highlands, a place with less humidity and high temperatures, being the door to the Valencia Great Desert, we have better conditions for the pepper. As you can see, the temperature palette is inside the highlighted color in the graphs, giving more 162 growing bonus for every 5 minutes, and the humidity indicating a 2% chance of having a problem every 5 minutes, and the estimated harvest time had a reduction of 2 to 3 hours because we are in a good climatic spot for this seed. And the grape, as I said, is easy to plant. In this case, there is no change because as is inside the graphics index. It's also worth remembering that if you use workers in your fences, they won't change the rate of which your crops grow. The workers only serve to counteract the humidity humidity problems, as they solve problems like uprooting and killing parasites. But the temperature bonus can only be obtained when your crops are in their perfect climates. If you like this content, don't forget to read the adjuvantary types in the description of this video, click like and subscribe. This will help me to continue to create the Black Desert Quick Guide. So have a good game and see you next video.